Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So I kind of had a weird, obvious realization this weekend, on my birthday weekend. And I was just thinking about, my parents and Christine, my fiance's parents, and a lot of my aunts and uncles who are in their retirement age. They're in their, mid 60s to low 70s. And, a lot of my family and Christine's family, they immigrated here from, Vietnam or China. And they basically moved here when they're 18 and, basically came here of nothing and achieved the quote unquote American dream where they had a stable job. They were able to, get pension in some situations. They're able to get Social Security. They're able to buy a house. The house are paid off now. They have a 401k. And they basically am living good now, right? They get insurance, they get Social Security, and they have a paid off house. So, they're making good. They're living good now. And they made it better for myself, my generation, right? I'm first generation Vietnamese American. So me and all my cousins, we have it easier, relatively speaking, right? Like money was never an issue for us. We never had to worry about food. We never had to worry about housing. We just lived, focused on our life and did whatever, kind of made sense for us, right? So, fully transparent, yes, my life is way easier than what my parents had to go through or the generation before me had to go through, right? And because of that, it gave me a springboard to pursue higher wealth, right? So I leveraged it to pursue higher wealth, but some people could use it as a crutch where they don't try as hard and they don't do better than their parents. So I've always had the mindset of you have to do better than your parents, right? Because you have it easier than your parents in a way, in some situations, right? Not all situations. But my realization was, my parents, they've accumulated, millions in net worth. They have paid off houses. And, I have aunties and uncles who, they've accumulated, $10, $20 million net worths. And they just recently retired at 65. But now that I see them in, retirement age, they're not even spending that much money. I have my dad, for example. He gets pension, he gets Social Security, he has a property that he rents out, and he gets positive cash flow from that. And I don't even know how much he takes home, but let's just say $8,000. But he doesn't even spend $8,000 a month, right? He's not really super into travel. I mean, he travels maybe once a quarter, but he can afford that. His living expenses is very low because he just pays his property tax, his insurance, his utilities. Whatever he wants to buy, he buys, right? If he wants a new car, he buys a new car. If he wants a new laptop, he buys a new laptop. If he wants to travel somewhere, he goes to travel somewhere, right? And same my uncle. My uncle, he actually owned a house in Fremont, which is a very, very expensive area in the Bay Area. And what he did was he sold his house. It was a primary residence. He took his, $500,000 of tax-free money because he's married. And then he dumped that money into buying, I think 9 rental units in Sacramento during the 08, 09 area. He sold in I think 2007, 2008. And he took that money and bought a bunch of single family homes or duplexes in Sacramento. And today, I think they're all paid off. And basically, he cash flows around on average maybe $20K a month. And he literally told me yeah, I can't even spend all my money. And now he travels a lot, right? He travels a lot. For someone who's 70 years old, he travels a lot. And he said that he doesn't spare any expense now, right? He likes to stay in a nice hotel because he wants to sleep well. And that he knows that he only got 10, 15 more years left. So he might as well just go all out. So he doesn't look at any expense. He literally is spending all his money. But even despite that mindset, he still accumulated a lot of wealth. And he can't even spend all the money, right? So, and I have another, aunt who probably accumulated $20 million in net worth. And, she just retired recently because she got laid off as a mortgage officer. And she was the most productive mortgage loan officer there was. So she was always making $500,000 plus a year. And, they invest in stocks. They own some rental properties here and there, not as big as rental properties. But she just recently retired. And she's like, oh my God, this is amazing. But I see her lifestyle, she can't even spend all her money either, right? And and then another uncle. So it's interesting. So A lot of people who came from Vietnam, they kind of have that hoarder mentality. They like to hoard things, right? Like, so, and then they still maintain that like frugal mentality, right? Because that's what helped them build their wealth, and they're used to like hoarding and accumulating, whether that's things and whether that's wealth. So like it's super funny. Like he traveled to like Vietnam, and literally a 5-star hotel in Vietnam is like maybe 40, $50 a night. And he's worth 20 million, and he was just like, oh, like I'd rather stay in a hostel, right, where you pay like $6 a night because I'm barely home. But I'm just like, dude, like like you're not gonna spend all your money, you're just gonna pass off your money to your kids, my cousin, right? And then like they're already doing well themselves. So this kind of takes me to the concept of Dow Zero, where like in my 20s I have a lot of energy, I have a lot of time, but I have no money. In my 30s I have I have energy, I have a little bit less time, but I have more money, right? And as you age, like 40s, 50s, you start to have more money. You still have energy, but you have less time. And when you're in your 70s and 80s, you have a lot of money, you have a lot of time, but you have no energy. So, like, for me, I think the golden window is like about 30, 40, 50. And I'm 35 now, right? And 30, 40, 50 is kind of that golden window where you have time, you have energy, and you have money. So that's why for me, early retirement is such a huge deal. And, I know I rambled on for a bit, but like, why it hit me hard was like I said, my parents cannot spend all their money. Christine's parents cannot spend their money. So when they pass away, I'm going to inherit something, right? I have siblings, I have a sister, right? So I'm going to inherit something. I'm going to inherit a paid off property. Christine, same thing. She's going to inherit some money, and then she's going to inherit a paid off property. So like, literally, me and Christine combined are like $7 million plus net worth. And I was just talking to Christine. I'm like, dude, I think if I literally stopped working today and never bought another asset, I don't think I can spend all my wealth, right? Because this is the beauty of compound growth, right? Where like every 10 years, my net worth's going to double, right? So if we're worth 7 million now, in 10 years, it'll be 14 million. In another 10 years, it's going to be like 28 million, right? So, and then the way we live, like the way Christine and I live, like we live very humbly, right? And like for me, I like nice things, but like I can afford it. And like for me, like I want a nice car. I have a Tesla Model Y, right? Like I don't think any car could be much better than the Tesla Model Y, at least for me right now, right? Just super convenient. I don't have to go to the gas station, no oil changes. I charge at home. For repairs, they come to me. It has autopilot. It really made my life more convenient, right? So in terms of convenience, I don't think it can be any better. Yes, could I get an Audi R8, GTR, whatever nice car? I could, but I think it would stress me out because if I scratched it, I'd be more stressed than happy, right? Versus Tesla, kind of a beater car. So, like I can buy whatever car I want. Like in terms of my house, like I know I can pay off my house. I can literally sell property, pay off my primary residence. And like for me, I don't necessarily want a bigger, nicer house in California, unless I move out of state, right? In that case, I can get a bigger house. But like a bigger house comes with other stressors, right? Like you're gonna have to you have to clean more house or hire a maid to clean more house, and like you're not gonna use most of the house, right? So for me, it's like my current house is big enough. Like I'm happy. It's like 1,700 square foot. That's good enough for right now. And like I don't want to get to a big house because it's more to clean, and you don't use the space, and I hate using not using space. So like house wise, I'm okay. In terms of like things I want, like if I want something, like right now, even though I can buy it right now, right? If I want a new laptop, I can buy a new laptop. Want a new watch, I can buy it, right? I can go on vacation. Like I'm not going to be stressed about it. So I was just thinking like, shoot, like why do I keep on going, right? Like why do I keep on going? Like I can stop right now, and then like I can't even spend all my wealth, and eventually I'm gonna inherit. Me and Christine are gonna inherit some money from our parents, right? And we're fortunate where our parents are self-sufficient, never had to contribute money to them, and we're gonna inherit some wealth. So I'm like, oh, so like knowing all that, I'm just like, oh, I'm not as motivated to like why work more than I need to, like why work more than I need to. So it was just reaffirming for me to be like, wow, I can legitimately retire like right now, or like give myself to 40 years old latest. And Christine doesn't believe me, but I'm setting it hard because like I see no point, right? Like if I work 5 more years, that's another $1 million of gross income, maybe $500,000 after taxes. And like at that point, it's just like I can't even spend all my wealth, right? And like my dad can't even spend his wealth. Christine's parents can't spend their wealth. Like we kind of value more about experiences than we do material things right now, right? And then for me, experiences doesn't have to be that expensive. If you credit card turn, if you travel to like Southeast Asia, it's more affordable. You know, yes, you can go to like Europe periodically, but you know, it depends how you travel, right? And for us, like, we save money on hotels. Like, we just want a affordable hotel in a decent area. Doesn't have to be crazy. Doesn't have to be 5-star. Doesn't have to be Four Seasons, but just good location that we can walk around and then eat good food. Like, whether it's, you know, street food, which is affordable, or we go to a nice restaurant, we can do it, right? So there's something that hit me kind of hard this weekend. It was just like, wow, like, I can literally stop right now and I don't have to do anything. And you know, I only think I can spend all my worth, right? Like, worst case, you know, like for my kids, like legacy wise, like they're each gonna inherit paid off property, and they'll each get a decent life insurance amount because I have life insurance, right? And like I said, I'm gonna inherit stuff from my parents. So like, if I have 2 kids, if each kid gets a paid off property and some life insurance, like, what else do they need? That's way more than I got, right? That's way more than I'm gonna get from my parents. So anyways, hopefully this gives you some insight as to what it's like to build your wealth, and hopefully maybe if you're ready at my point or better, then, you know, maybe you can, you know, take the foot off the gas pedal and take it a little bit easier. So anyways, let me know if you have any questions. If you want to learn to buy multifamily real estate, some guidance and mentorship, take the link down below. Otherwise, please like, comment, subscribe, and hope to see you next one. Thank you so much.